Cullen, how does this feel around the neck based on what a gold medal feels like? I'm just curious.
I'm going to say that it feels nice to have the red and white up here with two NC State folks speaking. That feels good. It feels good to have the same as you.
What a gentleman. Brought me some water.
I'm a fish out of water, so I felt like you needed water.
Thank you. Hey, you look pretty good back then. You're not too far removed from that, I'm guessing.
I try, but my family, we like to eat, and I like to eat.
Drowning almost to Olympic gold medal. How does that happen?
I always say I had persistent parents. We went to Dorney Park. My parents knew I loved water. I'm going to date myself. So my son is here, Avon. You don't know what He-Man and Thundercats are, but when you put me in the tub with them, I would cry if they pulled me out. And so I love the water. And so they took me to an amusement park. My dad, who kind of knew how to swim. My mom at the time didn't know how to swim, and they were like, he's tall enough, and if anyone sees my son, you will see, tall enough to ride the ride. But I had never had swim lessons, and so my dad went first, I went second, and my mom ended up going third, but as they were yelling at my dad to hand the inner tube to the next person, I came out of the ride, flipped upside down, didn't know what to do, was trying to pull. I was underwater for 30 seconds, and they say that a child can have brain damage for being underwater for more than 30 seconds. I was about 40, and so they had to resuscitate me. I woke up, and the first thing out of my mouth was, "What's the next ride we getting on?" Because I was 5 at a water park and didn't want to leave, but my mom said, "Never again, you're getting your butt into swim lessons."
What an incredible story to share, because I know in this community in Greensboro, they care about swimming. Second graders here in this market, 60% of the second graders in Guilford County get swimming lessons. It's a very important initiative here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we have some people here, and I thank you so much for being here. Susan's somewhere around here, but there she is. When I was asked to come to that, I try my best to make sure that I come to watch these kids swim. And Greensboro is really the guiding light. I don't care where I go. I talk about this program because we need to get this everywhere to save lives.
When you're referenced as the first black swimmer to do this, to do that, what responsibility does that bring?
You know, after 2008, I was lucky enough to meet some amazing, amazing people. They really changed my life and just the way that I thought about things. But it was actually a couple of the NBA guys that said, "Do you know what you just did for the sport of swimming?" And my agent at the time said the same thing. And the drowning rates were put in front of me. And at the time, 70% of Black Americans didn't know how to swim. And it just hit me. And at the time, 60% of Latino Americans didn't know how to swim. 48% of Caucasians don't know how to swim. I'm like, this is a US problem. This is my way of giving back. I nearly drowned. I was almost one of these statistics. And so I took being a role model very seriously, and started working with USA Swimming to try to get people to learn to swim, and never looked back. I'm still doing it.
And take me back a little bit, because you're an incredible athlete, and swimmers to me can do just about anything based on the discipline and the amount of time that's required, how hard you train.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick swimming when you could have done other things?
Yeah, so I started with gymnastics, and they saw my dad, who's 6'4", and they were like, "This is not for you." So I grew up in New Jersey and New York, and this was the height of hip hop and dancing, so I wanted to do backflips and stuff. So when I saw swimming for the first time, I was doing track, and I was still kind of playing around with basketball because my dad was a basketball player, but I just fell in love with it. It was my friends that were there, and the team was just so inclusive at the time, which was so rare for that area. But I had to take the bus, and I know this is unheard of. I was 10 years old taking the bus, public bus, to school, and then take that bus to swim practice, because I just wanted to be there. And so, yes, our practice is hard, yes, but when you're doing that, I guess misery loves company. I was always with my friends, so I loved it.
What role did NC State play in your international success?
There's two places that molded me. For high school, it was St. Benedict's in Newark, and the second place was NC State. There are quite a few people that really had an impact. Brooks Teal was the coach at the time. He was a really big impact for me. Chad Onklin was a big impact. But there's one particular person who came here, and when you said discipline, I was not disciplined when I first got to NC State. And actually, in my first year, I ended up not having great grades and was not eligible to swim my sophomore year. I had to sit in front of this lady, and she looked at me, and she did the one thing that gets under my skin: disappointment. And that is Michelle Lee. She's here somewhere. Yes. She gave me there she is. She gave me the disappointment look, and it hit me. But the next year, I watched our team not win meets because of me. And I'm watching, the coaches of other teams kind of like, ha, he's on the order. And I just had to eat that. I remember going into that next year, my grades came right back up, and I had to go to Michelle Lee's office, and she goes, "You gonna do that again?" I said, "No, ma'am." For the next couple of years, I excelled in school and excelled in the pool. It was really not because I was a knucklehead, it was just because it was so hard to maintain the training and school at the same time. And I remember going to Michelle's office because I felt like I needed to have her permission, because I had just signed a deal with Nike to go pro. And I couldn't keep up with the English department and do that. So I went to her and I said, "Michelle, I can't." And she just looked at me, and I was ready. I was like, and she's like, "I get it, but you're gonna make a promise right here. You're gonna finish your degree." She called my mom, yes, to make sure this happened. And I was like, "Okay, I promise. 2008, magical year. 2012, magical year. 2016, I missed the team. And there were a couple of people that came to me and were like, "Are you done swimming? Are you done swimming?" I was like, "No, I'm not done. And the late Chuck Wilgus, who was the CEO of USA Swimming, said, "I hear NC State's doing pretty well in the swim pool with Braden, and at the time, Todd DeSorbo was there as the sprint coach. He's like, maybe you should check it out." So here I come, calling Braden. I'm like, "Can I come swim?" He goes, Yeah, be here. Okay, I hang up the phone. Not 5 minutes later, my phone rings again. And I look at it and I'm like, oh no. "Hello, Michelle. So, what was that promise you made me and your mom?" "Okay, let me finish school." So after 11 years, I went back to school to get my degree at NC State because of that lady right there. And because she knows my triggers, and I never want to see that depressed face and disappointed face again, my GPA never went under a 3.8.
Wow, remarkable. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take us to that 2008 world record.
Yep.
Michael Phelps is on your team. Garrett Weber-Gale.
Yep, Weber-Gale.
And Jason Lezak.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched it over today. You still get chills, even though you know what's going to happen.
It was one of the most surreal moments, and so
you had to earn your way on.
I had to earn my way. So Peacock did an amazing job of actually, covering the whole thing. So I'm going to summarize it, but because everybody at home needed to watch it on NBC, our prelims were at night and our finals were in the morning.
This is the 4x4.
4x100. 4x100.
Relay. I'm sorry, yes.
And so to be on that relay, the coach was like, "I'm not playing politics. Whoever wins and has the fastest in prelims will make the final," because Garrett was first in the 100 free, Jason was second, and we have to save Michael Phelps for finals. Okay, fine. I make this joke in front of him, I do. So there's only one spot left, so I swam against some of the best, and we actually ended up setting the world record in prelims. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, yes, I made the relay. And so I'm looking at the coach, and I'm like, wait, I gotta figure out what the time is. So I go to the coach, and I'm 6'5", Matt Grievers is 6'10". It's like a building jumping over you, and he's flying. And I'm like, "Coach, what was the time?" And he said, I don't know if I can read this. Matt Griever's 47.67, Cullen Jones 47.66. So I made that relay by 1/100th of a second. And yeah. And so I'm like, I made the relay. Oh man, I made the relay. And Michael's going for 8. The French team's talking smack that they're there to crush the Americans, and I'm the slowest one on the relay. Sweet. And because everything was flipped, I go back to my dorm, and I'm sitting up there like, you can't mess up, you can't mess up, you can't mess up. And there's a bang at the door at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's Phelps. And I open the door. I'm like, Mike, yep, you've got a lot of events. Why are you awake at 1 o'clock? He's like, Cullen, wake up. The NBA guys are downstairs. They want to wish us good luck. What? So I kick Lochte, who is forever my roommate, and he's snoring. I'm like, NBA guys are downstairs. Ah! We run downstairs. Kobe, LeBron, D-Wade, all of them are down there to wish us good luck. And I'm just shaking hands, and I'm just blown away that these are these stars that I've always looked up to, especially like Kobe. And I'm like, oh my God. And the one person, they all start looking at me. There's one person that breaks the silence, and it's LeBron. He goes, oh snap, there's a black dude on the swim team. Thank you, LeBron. It's one of the funniest moments of my entire career. But the next morning, it was like magic. I got everything I needed prepared. We're sitting there and we're ready to go. And, on the left, we're about to get ready. We do our USA thing, hold each other's hands, and here we go, let's go. Mike's up there doing his arm thing, getting ready. And the door on the left opens, and George Bush walks in, the president at the time. And I can't make this up. He sits down, grabs the American flag. No facial expression at all, but it's cool, the president's here. And then on the right, Kobe, LeBron, they all came to watch us race. And the scene was set after that. It kind of gets kind of blurry. I kind of blacked out a bit, but we ended up hitting the wall and setting the world record.
Well, that's amazing. That's quite a story. Cullen, you work for Speedo. You're an ambassador for USA Swimming. What is all your responsibility?
I always say the gold medals were great, but my biggest gold medal is sitting right there. My son is my muse, he's my everything. And when he said to me, Daddy, I like swimming. And I started thinking about some of the things that I went through being the only person that looked like me swimming most of my career. I wanted him to know that this sport will love him. And so, thank you, Michelle. I'm overdoing it with the working now at this point because you set the bar and I just keep pushing. So I sit on the board for USA Swimming Foundation, a group called Diversity in Aquatics. I work at Speedo and head not only the sports marketing for North America, but also philanthropy. And it's all of it in an effort to help diversify the sport, but also to make sure everyone understands the sport is for them. And so my real mission is for him to not go through some of the things I went through.
Cullen, you have such an amazing story. I think this could be a much longer fireside chat one day. I'm really amazed at what you bring to the sport and how you've helped so many people. Who would you like to thank tonight for your path?
I would like to thank, I think he might have left. I usually got the best hat, but Mr. Petty's beating me, so I'll take silver today. But no, seriously, I'd like to thank my mom, who's always been my rock. I lost my dad at 16. I'm sure there were moments where she didn't know how she was gonna make it through, but she never let me feel that. And it's her strength that continues to push me on so many times, because I don't know how we got through a lot of the things, but she just kept telling me, you go swim. I don't care, you go swim. My mother-in-law who's here, who's not really my mother-in-law, she's just my other mom, for allowing me to be so welcomed in the family. You mean the world to me. My wife, of course, we celebrate 8 years on Tuesday. Thanks for putting up with me and all the travel and work, and it's all to try to make it better for everyone that decides they want to touch the water. And of course, I got to thank my little guy who's sitting here probably playing Minecraft or something. But I'm just so blessed to have this family, and thank you for supporting me.
Congratulations, Cullen Jones.